I am Sagarika from BriBooks. Can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Riddhi Sandeep. I am studying in Aldiafa High School and I'm in year 7. And I have written and published a book called The Girl Who Sought the Truth through a wonderful platform called BriBooks, which helped me a lot to finish the story.
Could you please tell us something about your book?
So, when I wrote this book, I mainly thought that I was really fascinated by the idea of truth, like how it could change anyone's perspective. So, it follows a young girl who discovers a library that has the answer to everything, and she wants to uncover the truth about her parents who died due to an unfortunate, unknown reason. So, she wanted to know that. So, she went to this library to uncover it, but things did not go according to the plan, and
Where did you get the inspiration to write this story, like the plot?
so I've been really fascinated by the truth, like I said before, and how powerful it can be. So I really wanted to write a story where this young girl wants to uncover the truth, something like that. And I I wanted to know how I would be in that position, how I also want to know the truth because this character is also a part of me since I am a really, really curious person and I could say I'm a bit nosy. I want to know everything, just like the character here, Lena. The character here is a part of me, and it inspired me to write this book.
It's very interesting. Also, what do you think is the importance of truth in your own personal life?
In my words, I feel like the truth is not what it seems. And, you know, everyone thinks that truth is just a fact. It's something that anyone is honest about. But it is not what it seems. So it's not about finding the truth in the world, uncovering anything. It's like about yourself. I wanted to, show that courage, the bravery of the truth in my book. I wanted to show that sometimes it's best not to know the truth and it's best to leave it like that.
Very well said. Also, I feel like truth has so many versions to it. Like for every individual, there's going to be a different perspective and version of the truth which we think, and we can decipher it according to ourselves. So, coming to your book writing journey, how did you realize that you want to become an author?
Honestly, I when I was writing this book, I let my imagination go wild. I I thought of my feelings as these places in my book and the ideas that I thought as characters, and instead of just creating a fantasy land than I like I usually do, I'm more into fantasy. This was a new genre for me to try. I decided to try this genre and I created this space that represented these different emotions and truths. Like in my book, The Library, which has an answer to everything, and I wanted to show Lena's feelings. I wanted to show my feelings about the truth through this book. So a lot of it is based on my daily life, what happens every day.
So, what would happen if a library like this actually appears for you, like beyond reality? What if it actually appears for you?
Honestly, if it was me, being my really like curious self, I would go to the library, uncover everything. Like, when will I die? When will I win this award? When will I maybe graduate from school? What will happen? I would want to know everything, spoil everything for me, though if an average person would want to like stay away from the truth because like I said before, sometimes it's best to leave it just like it is, but being my ignorant self, I would go to the library.
Actually, I relate to this because I'm also a very curious person and I want to know everything beforehand. What is going to happen? How is it going to happen? So, about your book writing journey, what do you think is the hardest part and the most enjoyable part for you?
The most I would start with my favorite part. The most favorite part was honestly brainstorming, because when I'm brainstorming, I don't have to think if my vocabulary is good, if my grammar is good, if my spelling is good. I just have to let my imagination do its thing. I just have to think, nothing else. So when I'm brainstorming, I would see different inspirations from different books, like yeah, different books, and I would take their stories, their inspirations, and try to craft my own story. So but the thing is, when I'm brainstorming, like I said, I don't have to worry about anything. Just think, jot down your ideas. My least favorite part is writing, thinking about the plot. Because when I'm writing the book, I have a lot of writer's block. And I can't think of what do I write next, what should be in the story, what should be the biggest plot twist, something like that. It's really hard for me to think of these ideas. It's really hard for me to project that in my story. So, it takes a lot of thinking and a lot of effort into trying to write the actual book rather than just brainstorming. So that would be my least favorite part.
How do you recover from a writer's block?
I actually, in the BriBooks platform, there was a cute AI bot, and
Reboot.
I used to get a lot of information from it. It would help me brainstorm ideas, and actually, yeah, some of my pages from the book, the ideas were helped from this cute robot.
So, what do you think is the most engaging or the unique part of your book, which makes it your own?
Basically, if a reading, I'm a really avid reader. I'm the biggest bookworm. You could give me any book, I will read it. Not non-fiction, but definitely fiction. And reading these books, you helped me a lot in writing. I was able to gain a lot of knowledge and mainly everything I know about writing through them. And I have learned a lot, especially through reading. And yeah, it is mainly my hobby. I also enjoy drawing. It's what I do every day. And, I show everything I want, all of it through drawing and reading and writing.
True artist indeed.
Yes.
Okay. So, what do you think is necessary for a story to bind together?
I think they need to know what they want, like what they want to happen in the book, what they should expect when they're writing a book. Because when I started writing, I thought it would be easy. I just had to write the book and do now whatever. But when I started writing, I was really annoyed. I was so frustrated because I was so angry at myself because I couldn't write anything, no ideas would come. So I would say before starting to write, the first thing that anyone who wants to write or do anything is to know what they're in for, what they have to expect, and how to tackle these challenges. Because when I started writing, I didn't know anything. Because almost everything I've done is self taught. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos, how they're writing. I participated in many writing competitions. So, I really wish that I had known that piece of information, like what I would be in for.
So, what were your parents or your family's or friends' reaction when your book got published?
A lot of them were really surprised because everyone sees me as like a quiet person, also talkative at the same time. So they didn't really expect I would actually publish my book in this website. So my friends, they were all really surprised. They really wanted to read my book, and they were really excited because their old friend was like an author, and they were very excited to see that my book was in having a cover page, my small summary about me, everything like a normal book, and they were so excited and they were really happy for me.
And what was your reaction when you got those achievements for your book?
When I found out, I was very shocked because I did not expect to get in the top 12 because when I was writing this book, like I told before, I was having a writer's block. I could not think of anything, but I really, really wanted to participate in this. And so I decided to write something that would be different for me. So that's why I chose a different genre. So I don't have to think about it too much. It would be something that a completely new thing for me. And everyone was also really supportive of me and they saw like a different side of me and their encouragement, they really kept me going.
So, what do you say is your writing process or the routine that you follow for this masterpiece?
Uh, I mainly start always with brainstorming. So I need to know, rather than directly starting, I need to know what parts will be there in my book, what I'm going to write in it, what is it going to be about, who are the characters, the places. So I spend a lot of time brainstorming. That is also my least and favorite part because What I like about it is that I can write whatever. I don't have to care about anything. But my least favorite part is sometimes having the writer's block. So, it's hard to think of ideas. So, I feel like no one should be ashamed of taking reference from other books. They should not feel that it's wrong, that it's like copying. Because most of my books, I've not exactly copied from them. I've taken inspirations, I've seen the writing styles of different authors, and I have crafted and tailored my writing, something like that. So, I feel no one should be ashamed of taking the references from other authors. And then another thing is finally writing the story. And this is where I get really frustrated, this part of the writing process, because I sometimes have a lot of trouble starting my book. That first line is always the trouble, and the ending line is also the trouble. So I spend a lot of time thinking how I should start. When I finally got the idea, again, I suddenly think of another idea. So I rewrite it, then I think of another idea, and it's very confusing for me. But in recent years, I've learned how to control that. I've learned how to manage my time as well. Then the last one is finally proofreading everything, seeing the spellings, the grammar. If you want to change anything, you want to increase the number of words, decrease it. And this was my favorite part. So I could finally reread it, and my first draft is done. I can finally stop thinking and I can just focus on fixing the vocabulary or grammar. So that is my entire writing process.
It actually has a very detailed steps to it, which actually worked in your field, and you've done such an amazing job at book writing. Any plans on writing another book sometime soon?
Maybe if I have the time, and I really want to write a new book, probably about nature, since I have recently read a book from an author called Hannah Gold, and I loved it, and I suddenly got rejuvenated from my writer's block. And yeah, definitely, writing is also something I really love, and I already have some ideas in my head. And yeah, I'm hoping to keep creating these stories and inspire and connect with other readers.
Really know from you, obviously you have really good writing style and creativity. So, what other genres would you want to explore?
For me, mainly, I love crime, crime documentaries, murder books, and I also used to like fantasy. It was what I would read every day. And I really want to try reading maybe a psychological thriller or mainly a non-fiction book. Since I really don't, I'm not a big fan of non-fiction books, facts, and there's so much statistics, so much things that are hard to understand. Because in, fiction books, it's just reading it and, having that anticipation what's going to happen next. But in a non-fiction book, it's not exactly my cup of tea. I, I don't find it really enjoyable for me. So I think I'll try reading a non-fiction book and see how I think about it.
We are relate to this because for fiction books, you can be the protagonist and you can imagine yourself in that world. But with non-fiction, you know that there are facts involved in it and some things actually happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what message do you want your readers to take from your book?
For me, I feel that everyone thinks that they're too young, they can't write it at all. That that if they're too young, they can't write it, they can't connect with readers, they can't write at all. I used to have that mindset with me too. But with a lot of support from my family, I feel like age it's no barrier to anything you love. It doesn't have to be writing, it can be anything, maybe music or drawing or anything. So I feel like no one should focus on their age. It has nothing to do with your potential or whatever you really, really enjoy.
Right. Actually, my last question is related to this because I wanted to know what would you give, what advice would you give to the people or the young authors who are facing this writer's block or procrastination? Because we keep procrastinating and then the actual work is just left out in the cold. So what advice would you give to them?
I feel like no one should wait to be ready. Because for me, I procrastinate a lot. I feel like, okay, I'll write it tomorrow, I'll be ready. Then the next day, I'll be like, no, I'll write it next day. So it's no one should think that, they're too young, like I said before. They should just start writing. They don't have to wait to be ready. Just start. And even though you're small, your age, maybe you're too old, you think you're too old to write. You should not think, your mindset should not be like that. So your voice matters, even if you're growing up. And no one should be afraid to actually write. No one should be afraid to show it, maybe to your parents, your teachers, to your friends. And you should not have a wall or anything inside you. You should be proud of your talent, stuff like that. Because I used to feel that writing was not exactly cool. I used to be really embarrassed, but now I started writing a lot. I feel that it's a big part of me. And so no one should feel embarrassed about what they love. It should come straight from their heart. So, lastly, you should read as much as you can. Books are your best teachers and your best friend.
It was wonderful talking to you, with such a young kid having such mature thinking and amazing speaking skills. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope we can do this sometime soon. And I do hope that I can read more books from you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.